ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Namaskar, my dear friends. This video is about the teachings of HWL Poonja, who is aware of consciousness. So, in this video, we are going to hear about the Atmagyan or Brahmagyan or knowledge of the self. Let there be peace and love among all beings of the universe. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Anything that appears and disappears must be a dream. It is good to bring mind back from its wandering tendency by concentrating on an object. It is like holding the tail of a dog. As long as you hold it, it is straight, and when you let it go, it becomes curly again. Laughter. Because it is not the nature of the tail to be straight, so through concentration it is good to keep the tail straight. Dhyana is when the mind has no object and no subject, the rest is concentration, which has to be practiced. We should not forget that the mind will be calm as long as you are practicing, but it will not destroy itself. The mind will not be destroyed, it will be calm for some time. So, to keep the mind calm and destroy it forever is the aim, and this is absolutely necessary for freedom. When there is no mind, this is freedom. When the mind does not function, it is freedom. I do not find any result by concentrating on an object because it is done with some effort. Some effort is needed between the observer and the object of observation, and this in between them, this function is effort. When the mind does not function and return to its natural state of calm and peace, this is effortless. This is called freedom. To attain this freedom, no effort nor method is necessary. You have not to tread on the beaten track. You have to find your true nature. Find out who you are. You have to start there before trying to know anything else. Leave aside all methods, leave aside everything. Sit quiet and do not move. Do not move the mind. Do not activate the mind nor the intellect. Then observe the observer itself. And this will be your true nature. From where everything else comes, this is your own nature. If you bring any questions of making an effort, of making it a method, or of trying to achieve something in the distant future, then this will bring you into time, and time is the mind. This will be play of mind only, but your original nature is empty. You are all at every time empty. That's all. Then follow what thought arise in your mind. You will find that all thoughts arise from emptiness, from their source. When you are aware, when you see that I am that source itself, then there is no longer a need to practice anything, and there is no longer a need to go anywhere. You will see that you already have been that. This is called freedom, which you have not to achieve or attain in the distant future. It is already there. So, if there are any questions about this, then we can discuss about this together. Question: if one is aware that That is one's nature, but when there is any concept of time or moment here, then fear arises and there is hesitation. Papaji, this is the fear of facing the emptiness because you are living in so many things, so many concepts, you see. This is the fear of having all your illusions destroyed. You are meant to face the emptiness face to face and you lose everything, all concept of the past, present and future which you consider to be your life. You are holding on to them because the feeling is that you are living along with them. So when they leave, you have the fear of dying in the ocean of nectar, the fear of death in the nectar. And what is the meaning of nectar? Eternity, deathlessness. So we have fear of eternity, that I will become eternal. This is a fear because we want to cling onto something for our safety. We find that we are already holding on to the body, mind, and senses. This is for our safety, and we do not know that when we get rid of these things, we will have peace. When we go from the waking state to the sleep state, we lose everything. What we held on to during the waking state, our relationships with people, our relations, all this will leave. When we enter into the sleep state, we have lost everything. At the time, we have no fear, but we are afraid of love to get into sleep and get into the state of conceptlessness. Getting into the state of emptiness is the same, there is no difference. We cannot experience it because we are already in it. You cannot have an experience of what your true nature is. Therefore, don't get the idea that you have to achieve something by practice at some time later. You have to get rid of this concept by doing something at a later date. You have entered or received or achieved the same thing which you are now. So why not to do at this very moment? What will be the difference? This moment is available to you right now. Look into this moment, look into the instant of time, look into it just now and see how you feel. You cannot speak of this instant. It is a very beautiful subject that we are discussing. It happens, you see, it happened. This is the experience of everybody. There, we forget that this itself will dissolve it. It will find itself, you see. So, that fear will vanish and everything else there. What will happen is this I will dissolve question. So all that is needed is to look within. Papaji, yes. Turn your sight inside and look behind the retina. In front of the retina there will appear objects, but try to look within. When you look inside, you have solved all your problems of the ego, of jealousy and fear, of everything. You will find no ego inside. Ego, jealousy, and fear are all outside. You will feel jealousy with someone who is higher than you and hate people who are lower than you. This is the trend of outside looking. It is easier to look inside than to look outside. So, for one instant, look within and you will see beauty and love behind the retina itself. There is no difference between looking within and stillness, quietness, and peace. They are all the same. So look inside and see what happens. People will come up by itself and you will feel that looking inside at the reality and looking outside at the dream creation are the same. There is no difference. This cannot be explained in quietness, in stillness, in silence, or on the battlefield. To, to, to still be quiet on the battlefield, as on the high peaks of the Himalaya, no associate around you. This is peace itself and is called equilibrium of the mind. So there is no need to meditate and no need to practice. Keep quiet without even a thought of making an effort, as in deep sleep. Even only for a second, there is one true nature, trust this. As a leaf falls from a tree, it has got nothing to do. It has no intention that I must go northward or southward. It flies with the wind, and this wind is grace. Now you have fallen from the tree of the ego from where you came. You are falling on the ground lying. So whichever direction the wind blows, it will take you. You have no choice. This is how you have to live now. Trust this, nothing ever existed. Question: how then should one approach the self? Papaji, approaching the self is like walking the razor's edge. Two cannot go together. You cannot bring your wind, not even a thought. The only one who can help you is self. Anything that touches a flame becomes the flame. Touch a sage and you become a sage. Knowing self, you see only self, and this self is your Guru. The Satguru is within, the true Guru is self. All else is pointing to self. Eventually, you have to get rid of the name and form of both master and yourself. You have to reject the finger in order to see the moon. Where there is name and form, there is falsehood. It is an impediment to freedom because nothing you see will give you freedom. When you are drowning, hold on to self. Reach for anything else and you will die. Don't cling to anything made from the five elements. The Guru has no body, visible or invisible. Uh, do not depend on any body. Bodies are just fingers pointing to the truth. Reject the form of the Guru and only the Supreme is left. Question: what can I do that my mind stops troubling me? Papati, don't peep into the past because the past of everything is dark, troublesome, and if you look to it, you cannot have peace of mind. So the only thing to do is not to look to the past. If you say it is very difficult, I will not believe you. All past at one time was present and you enjoyed very well. This enjoyment was a stupid enjoyment because you desired the joy from someone else, did not you? You are not happy by yourself. You look out some you look out somebody, some snakes, some snake to love and it bit you. All relationships of the past are the cobras. This poison will not keep you alive, keep you happy. Therefore, the best way to keep happy is to not to go to the past. Try any thoughts that comes. You have to be watchful. Life is here to enjoy. God has given so many things in the world. God is so compassionate, merciful, helping His children. He has given a beautiful world to live, full of snow capped mountains, rivers, forests, trees full of fruit. So, why not enjoy this world? But you must know the technique of how to enjoy by not having the snake or scorpions. Look at it and it will vanish. You have not been looking, therefore you are having trouble. Question: it may sound stupid, but I am so afraid to die. I also feel that it would be real freedom to be ready to die. Until now, the statement "I am not the body" is only theoretical for me. It is not practical. So, can you please help that it becomes practical? Papaji, everybody is afraid to die. There is only one trick to avoid death, and that is know thyself now. Everybody is senseless, sleeping in a coma. They don't know what to do. Therefore, the best way is don't waste time. Do it now. Find out what is the reality of the things that appear to you. It may not be true that you see. After you wake up from a dream, where is the wife you had in the dream? Like this, for generations you have been having wives and husbands, brothers and sisters. Where are they? If they disappear like in the dream, then let us think that this might be a dream also. Anything that appears and disappears must be a dream. So, whatever does not disappear and does not appear must be real. Find out what it is. Find out within yourself. Find out who is that which has no attachment with the body, mind, ego, sense, or object. You can make this theory into practice whenever you understand closely what is the purpose of that appearance in the world, enjoyment, attachment, or finding freedom, then your eyes will open and you will not be afraid of death. A nameless and formless person will not die. And who is that person who has no attachment with the body, mind, ego, sense, and objects? You can make this theory into practice. Whenever you understand closely what is the purpose of any appearance in the world, enjoyment, attachment, or finding freedom, then your eyes will open and you will not be afraid of death. But apart from this fear of death, there is fear in your eyes. I do not know what kind of fear it is. Question: I am afraid to have to die now. Papaji, when did this thought came into your mind and you have to die now? Question: yesterday. Papaji, what time? In the question. In the night? Papaji, so before this fear came, what have you been doing? Question: sleeping. Papaji, and while sleeping there is no fear? Question: no. Papaji, in sleep there is no fear, only in the waking state is there fear. So while awake you must have been thinking about something so that this fear came to you. It is the thought I am going to die that you cannot face. Question: I was thinking about if I am afraid to stay here, I do not know if I can leave. Papaji, this fear is genuine fear. This is the death of the mind, so you are attributing the death of the mind to you. But when the mind die, you will live and you will be free. This mind is giving you fear to run away from here because if you stay here, it will die. This is, I agree, the death of mind and of all your desires. Everybody desires and everybody is living because there is a desire to enjoy. That desire vanishes when you sit here. The mind has been living with you for generations and now it will not die so easily. If you persist and understand that I have got to stay here and free myself from the mind, then you will overcome death. All you have to do is to persuade the mind, look, I am sitting here. If you want to stay with me, stay, otherwise you go and live with someone else. Therefore I have no company for you. You can go with someone else. I have to stay here. This fear is of the mind only. Question: how do I put an end to suffering once and for all? Papaji, if you have arrogance in your mind, ego, then you will continue to suffer. Ego is the source of suffering. When you surrender the ego, then the reality within you becomes your friend. It will reveal itself to you at once. But if you cling to the ego, two things cannot meet. You have to merge into reality. As the river merges into the ocean, like this, you must merge your ego into the divinity and become one with it. This is surrender. Maintaining the I will not help you. Remove this I and you will see how close you are to reality. I and the body are the same thing. How can this body ever see the reality? It is not possible. When you meditate, don't say I am meditating. Don't take the I with you. Who is meditating on who? It is the I which is always interval and causes suffering. People say I am suffering, I am dying. It is only the I that is troublesome. So just get rid of it. Reality is everywhere, and to find it, you must first disappear. Then you will see the reality everywhere. It is not possible to see that when you are still here. Divorce all physical relationship, divorce all names and forms. Whatever stays in the memory of your mind is a form. If it is formless, then you cannot see it. Now, in formlessness, you are quite free. All forms will disappear someday. So, what is the use of living with any form which will trouble you later on, which will die? This form, this body, will also leave you one day, so why love it? Be careful and only love that one beloved which you can never divorce. She is called Miss Peace and she will never leave you. All other beauties will fade away. But she is hiding because you are looking somewhere else. Stay quiet and stop looking elsewhere. Just for 1 second and she will reveal herself. One glimpse of her will give you eternal happiness. Question. This samsara, continuous round of birth and death, this duality, how does it arise and how do we end it? Papaji, it has no beginning but has an end. This ignorance, this samsara appears and there must be a beginning to it. This beginning is as you see a snake instead of a rope. Only when you inquire, reason out, then the snake disappears. This ignorance has no basis. Due to ignorance of the rope, the snake appeared. On reasoning out through inquiry, it disappeared. So ignorance of the self gave rise to samsara, and when you inquire into the samsara, then it is going to end. Otherwise, for millions of aeons, it will stay. It is not going to end. So how to stop this samsara? Only by stilling the mind. There is no difference between stillness and mind and freedom. When the mind is still, you are free. There is no method to still the mind, only by reasoning. Only when you inquire, how did this samsara arise? Where does it begin? It started from Sat Chit Ananda, truth being in bliss. With the association of prana, vital energy, it became this invisible self. I arose, then everything arose. So this ego is beginningless. So it is not going to end. Whatever you do, it will spread more and more. Samsara has become real, but when you still the mind, it stops appearing as real. Reality is only knowledge, existence, and bliss. When the mind is making free of its attachment to what is holding, then it becomes still. Anything dear to you in your mind is samsara. When you get rid of attachment, the mind is left still. When you look at an ocean or river, you see waves and bubbles on the surface, but waves and bubbles are just water. So names and forms arise, but when you investigate this is water and water has not changed, then you will discover that the waves and bubbles are water. So with a still mind you have to reason out discrimination, clarity, doubtlessness and desire for freedom will arise in a pure mind. How to still the mind? Papaji. The mind is no different from the object. Any object is objectified mind only. Do not let your mind abide anywhere. Mind has to abide on an object and If the object is removed, the mind cannot subsist without abiding to an object. Then there will be no mind. When the mind dies, you will live and be free. Let death come, let it come to cowards. Cowards. Those people who are afraid of death, to them the sea comes and take them away. If you invite death yourself and say, I am not afraid of death, then you become eternal. Only two choices are there. Either you follow the mind to live or you live without the mind. This is your decision. Give up everything you are holding, that's all you have to do. Then your mind become free of any attachments, vasanas, tendencies and desires. This is freedom. See that your mind is not running after any object. All objects are past objects. Attachment is an impediment to this wisdom, consciousness, and light. When the mind does not go anywhere, this is no mind, and when the mind goes somewhere, then it becomes mind. If you can give up all the attachment of the mind until this moment, then just imagine what will happen. Everybody wants to understand intellectually, but the intellect cannot carry you across to the other shore. So be free of the mind and intellect, and then you will see that you are yourself being knowledge bliss. Somehow you have forgotten it. Therefore, in satsang, you are reminded you are being knowledge bliss. Whatever you are doing from within consciousness. You are not doing. It is doing. Put the responsibility of action on consciousness and be free. It is doing. That's all. So I end this video here. Please like, comment and share the video and subscribe the channel. Thanks a lot. Namaskar my dear friend. And I will continue the second video on the same topic. Thanks a lot. Namaskar.